Wish you all a happy Thanksgiving week. It's a great week for you guys. A great week for us too. What do you got?
The decision to let Jamarcus Webb go, just what went into that?
We've had to work to make space, on the team, and so that was the decision that we made. We didn't make space for a roster spot.
Can you say yet who you're going to fill the roster spot with?
That'll come out here later today if we get it all right, squared up. You'll hear it.
How's Earl Thomas doing?
Well, under the circumstances, he's got a mild strain, a hamstring. So we're going to, go slow with him this week, make sure we're doing the right thing, and we won't rush him at all here.
But Michael Bennett, what's it?
It's going to be really hard for Mike to make it this week. We were hoping, he was really hopeful, but I think it's going to be pretty tough. It's going to be a big turnaround. Looks more like he'd be ready to go next week.
With Earl, how much do you have to kind of guard him against himself? He's always wants to play, and he's so intense.
Yeah, he seems to be in a good place, handling this. You would think that he would do everything he can, which he is, and to get right. But I think he's going to be mature about it and, go along with the decision. I mean, we won't give him his helmet, because he might go out and play. So we'll take care of him.
Is Deshaun Shedd in the same boat?
Yes. But almost the same boat there with those two guys.
How has Thomas responded from the game?
I think typically, he got banged up a little bit, but he's already going. He's going to practice this week, and we will look after him. But I think in normal fashion, he's really excited to play again and all that. So it looks good.
When you say banged up, it wasn't a specific injury?
No, there's no injuries. No, he did just getting hit, and for the first time in a long time. He took some pretty good shots and delivered a couple himself, so.
If Earl can't play, does Steven Terrell step into that spot?
Yeah.
At this point, is it unlikely that Shedd and Earl can play?
That's not a category we work with.
Would it be doubtful?
I would think so. I think, it's going to be hard for those guys to make it back. That's the word I was looking for.
Was it on Troy Maine-Pope? Was there? I mean, is that sort of going to take a while for him to get back from that too?
I was just with him, and he's bouncing around pretty good. So shockingly, for a high ankle sprain, he was bouncing around today. He's had the sprain before in the same ankle, and lots of times those guys respond differently the second time around, which is the trainers have always said that, and he is doing just that. So we'll see what that means. I can't tell you how far he can go, but they're really surprised that he's doing as well as he is.
Kelsey had been working, I think, as sort of the number one reserve at both free and strong, and then Steven was in on Sunday. Is that just a measure of kind of where he's at and what he's done in practice and his improvement there? Or is it sort of Kelsey?
Which one are you asking about?
Steven.
Yeah. Steven's done a nice job. He's been he's dug into that spot for a long time. We feel very confident he can do a nice job. Kelsey can too. Kelsey is ready to play also.
What have you seen from Steven and Nico Thorpe and even Rees Odhiambo, guys that will have to step up now with injuries and the release of Jamarcus and so forth?
Well, first off, that these guys have been really diligent about preparing for the opportunity, and so when they did jump in, they did well. They really knew their assignments. They're in the right spots. They gave us the confidence that they were comfortable with that opportunity. So as we move forward, we feel good about those guys, playing if we needed them to play again. Really good showing by Rees. He did a really nice job at left tackle for the plays he was in. All the guys did well. So that all I can say is that we're in good shape with that. It's really about the guys stepping up always, and these guys are ready to go.
Not that you ever want injuries, but big picture, are you pretty happy with the depth you've seen this year when guys have been called upon?
In particular, yeah. This week was a really good showing for that. To see Nico jump in and even our guys just having to move around a little bit, different spots and take different responsibilities. I thought it was really good. Rees jumping at tackle was an excellent showing by him. Jeremy playing a lot of corner play. Who did a nice job himself. All of that worked out really well.
How would you characterize Rees's development from where he was in training camp to now? How was
He somewhere. I don't know. I think it was in week 3 or 4, somewhere in there. We just noticed that he made a jump, and he just felt more comfortable. moving him around. He had been a left tackle throughout his college career primarily, and then when we had him at guard, whenever we spotted him at tackle, he just looked more comfortable, and so I think that was illustrated again. But once he got settled in, just the physical stuff and his mentality just seemed to shift a bit, and he just got more confident. And I think he was just fighting the fight and not really clearing up and how he could fit in and play. And once he did that, he really has made good impressions. So this is a really good deal for us. It's really what we were hoping to see, and he could go in if he plays this week. We'll feel fine about it. If not, he also will be able to back up at a number of spots, which is really valuable to us.
When you cut a veteran player at midseason, is there a sequence or a protocol you follow with the coaches and John about how to do that?
Yeah, we pretty much follow the same protocol. Now, we really want to talk to the guys and visit with them before they go and make sure that we, set the record straight on, what happened and where they sit and what our future holds for them. I think it's important that you visit with the guys. And there's sometimes the guys get out of here before I get them, but 98% of the time, 99% of the time, I get them, as well as John. And so that's kind of what the protocol is for us. We want to visit with them, and we've known these guys, we've dug in with them, and we care a lot about them, and we want to treat them as well as we can on the way out, and also let them know where they stand. A guy like Jamarcus, we would love to bring him back if we needed to and had a spot. Then we want to make sure that he understands that too.
Did you just feel like Rees and maybe Bradley Sowell was a better backup combo there?
Mm-hmm.
What's the protocol that you and John and assistant coaches go through to make sure you're all good with the decision?
I'm surprised you're asking that so specifically. We do our, we go through the process. We visit and until we feel comfortable with it. We have it's not, we're not marching here. We're just sitting around the table and talking about it. And so it's pretty normal conversation, and taking everybody into account that has a, valid opinion on it. And then John and I just come together on what we want to do. If there's any protocol, it's just trust that, and we trust in what we've seen and that we're going to do the right thing if we just talk it out. That's basically what happens.
How much does his case show what a crapshoot free agency for linemen can be, and how the linemen today are so hard to develop into your system?
I don't know that it's that. I just think every case seems to be individual. I don't think you can categorize them in a lump. I think that there are individual cases with how guys fit and how other guys play, and in this case it was how other guys performed really that made that come to light like that. And so I don't know if it's any big statement. I can't make a big statement about free agency based on that.
What do you see on tape from Jameis?
I think he's really good. We've seen him for years, watching him through the Florida State days. He's a terrific competitor. He's just a great ball player. He just has sense and savvy and guts and the confidence that really good players have. He demonstrates the confidence in the choices that he makes, how he throws the ball and when he throws it and the kind of traffic he'll throw it into. His belief in his arm and his accuracy jumps out. He's not sloppy at all with the ball. He's very good, and I think he's going to be a great player. And I don't think there's any question he can move around well enough for a big man, and he'll take off and make yards, with the scramble as well. I think he's really good, and they're using him in great fashion.
Stood out on the tape with them in Kansas City that impressed you with the Bucs?
That was a really tightly fought game. Kansas City's really a good team, and they do a lot of things right. And they took advantage of their opportunities, had a big pick, withstood a turnover. They just hung in there and hung tough, and their defense really gave them a chance to play with 19 points. They won the game, and that's a big outing by the defense at any time, and they were able to fit together really well. They played tough and hard on the road, and Kansas City's as hard as a place as it is to play. I just thought it was a great game for them in a lot of ways.
Mike Evans, just from a physical standpoint, is he about as good a receiver as there is?
Yeah, he really is. And they, unfortunately for us, they've got great chemistry. The scheme I mean, he might have had 100 targets already. I think he's somewhere like that to get his 65 catches. They really go to him, and they do because he can make all of the plays. He can make them in tight quarters. He can get deep. He can get open, in the third mediums and third and 3 to 6s and stuff like that. He can be a guy to go to. So he's got quick bursts. He's got great catching range, come through guy. He's really tough. He's a great player.
Alex Collins is a guy we saw a lot of in the summer, and then just kind of took a backseat. This guy's got healthy. Now he's going to have a bigger role. What have you seen from him just as far as growth from the beginning of the year?
Alex has worked really hard. He's worked really hard to get in shape. I think feel like we talked about this a couple weeks ago. He's kind of reconditioned himself, and he looks much better than he did in the off season and when we were getting ready, and even in camp. I think he's found a new level of conditioning really that really suits him well. He looks quick and explosive. He's practiced great for a long time. I visited with him today to remind him that this is a great opportunity for him and that he has worked really hard for this, and he's ready. He's prepared for it. So. He can play all facets of the game for us. He can play in first, second, third down, all that stuff, and run all the routes that we need to run, all of that. So he's done a really nice job in preparation.
Tampa's ability to convert on third down has been impressive the last few weeks. Is there something to slowing them down more than just forcing them into third and long situations?
They're just gaining in confidence. They're just getting better. Getting Doug Martin back is a big deal for them, too. He's really good. Jaquez is coming back, too, we think. And so they've got all their guys back. You just feel like they're using their personnel. Humphreys gets open really well in third down. They just do a nice job with all their guys. Cecil does a good job. They just seem like they're fitting together, and I think it's just a young team growing with a new coach and all of that. They've survived a difficult start already, and they're kind of going. So I just think it's just their confidence, and they've got plenty of ability now. They got a lot of guys that can make plays, and the quarterback is at the center of all of that.
Bobby Wagner's really made a ton of tackles lately. Is he just kind of getting in more position to make them, or what?
He just keeps, balling. He just keeps playing really good football. The game plan preparation is there. He's taking advantage of all of that. He's really on the mark on his fits and stuff in the running game, and he's a fantastic athlete. And so I think this is the result of scheme awareness, growth, good guys playing around him, and really probably the heightened level of his preparation just because he's just more experienced now.
With Nico, what have you seen specifically in terms of him getting the technique down and learning that?
First off, Nico, he looked good at Oakland, technique-wise. He had been coached, not quite the same as us, but he had been coached well enough that we could see that, he was a press corner. He can do it, and he's got good size and all that. He's strong. He feels comfortable with it. It's not too big for him, to be up on line of scrimmage and challenging good players and fast guys, big guys, doesn't matter. Very versatile, and he's a really good all-around football player, which has been demonstrated in the special teams work. He's been a fantastic special teams contributor for us, and that usually is like kind of the way Shed came along too. It shows you that the savvy and the instincts and stuff. A good tackler too, so he fits in with our guys like Sherman and Shed have always been good tacklers and fit guys on the edge. Nico's like that too, and he demonstrated right off the bat playing last week.
Mike Morgan looked like he's going to be good to go for you next week.
Mike will be ready to go next week. Yeah, he really could play this week. He's ready. He could have played last week, so he's in great shape. We just have to wait it out.
You guys are tied for the league lead in sacks right now, and that's what Mike Bennett missing the time he has. Just as a group, your pass rush, you feel pretty good this year? Yeah, excited about it, and Frank's emergence and his factor, and he not just he makes all the sacks, but he is such an issue for our opponents that. He's helping other guys be effective. Cliff is having a great season. Bobby's contributing too with the pressures, and I think Coach Richard's doing a nice job overall mixing our rushes and the looks from our guys to take advantage of them. And obviously we couldn't be more excited about seeing Mike get back in there. When he factors in as well. So Cassius has been a good contributor too. So it's a good team rush group right now, and that's probably why we get some good numbers.
Is Brock Coyle okay?
He's talking like he's going to be fine, and he's moving around a little bit already today. So we'll see. Should have a good chance to play.
Kevin Pierre-Louis be an option?
He's back. Yeah, he will be back.
In the times that you've had Sherman shadow receivers, what are the pros and cons of that been? How's that been for the defense?
Well, hopefully we've done it for the right reasons all along, and when it made sense and was a good fit. And Sherman's totally comfortable playing on both sides now. A while back when he was first coming along, people would ask stuff like that, and we were just bringing him up as a left corner. But he's well schooled on both sides and very comfortable in that. I think it's worked out fine. There's times when we do and times when we don't.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thanks.